Hi everyone there. I nominate part 1, episode 2. We saw in the first episode that the reason for the current pathetic state of polity and governance in India is a party based politics, and the solution is to graduate to a participatory democracy, that is, make the people select and nominate their own candidates and elect them. But then, how can 15 lakh voters as for Lok Sabha, or 1 to 3 lakh voters as for state assemblies, or even 10,000 to 30,000 voters for wards in large cities gather and select a single candidate for a constituency? At the same time, how can we expect 15 lakh or even 10,000 voters for a city corporation ward know all the candidates nominated by the political parties enough to make a considered choice? Only in small groups of say 200 to 300 voters will it be possible to know each other and make a considered choice. For local bodies, however, in many small villages, we have as few as 100 to 300 voters per ward. They live in as few as 30 to 90 houses. They know each other very well. It should be possible for them to gather and select their own candidate, nominate and elect them. This can be extended to other levels also. Extending this, we should form street people's committee for say 150 to 300 voters living in 40 to 80 houses. They can elect their representative to the next level, that is area people's committee for 10 street committee representatives. They will be representing 1500 to 3000 voters. They will in turn elect their representative for the large area people's committee for 10 area people's committees representatives. They will be representing 15,000 to 30,000 voters. They will elect the representative for the Assembly Constituency People's Committee for 10 large area committee representatives. They will be representing 1.5 to 3 lakh voters. Their representatives will constitute the Lok Sabha Constituency Committee for 10 to 5 Assembly Constituency representatives. They will be representing 15 lakh voters. The numbers for the various levels can be worked out for each state separately. Wherever the number of voters of these committees is close to the existing wards of the local bodies, these committees will be the same as the ward committees. Example, in Chennai, with 25,000 voters per ward, the large area committee and the ward committee will be the same. While in small villages with 200 to 300 voters, a ward committee may be the same as the street committee. By up and down consultations, the people's candidates for the various levels of governance can be nominated. It should be ensured that the persons elected as representatives and as candidates for the elections are basically residents of that particular street, area, large area, assembly constituency, Lok Sabha constituency, respectively. They should not belong to any frontline political party. They should be basically honest. They should be socially inclined and active. They should not be drunkards. Caste, religion, race, language, or any other division should not be the criterion for selection. Educational qualification, wealth status should not be the criterion. People's candidates thus nominated will win elections hands down, and they will go on to establish welfare governance for sure. These people's committees will act as residence welfare committees in the normal days and pick up their representatives to the higher committees periodically. These committee representatives will become the authorized representatives of the people to speak to and to deal with the government agencies for all their common public issues regarding road, water supply, etc., as also about permitting hazardous plants and other plants in their area. They will remain watchdogs for the activities of the government in their respective areas. Once the people's candidates are nominated, they will win the elections hands down and go on to provide welfare governance for sure. The political parties will wither away soon. No power on earth can try to fool these empowered people. In the event of any tampering of the election results, the voters will ensure that the wrongly declared elected is forced to step down. Even before the people's candidates win elections and form the governments, officers of the government, including the district collectors, political leaders, including the ministers, MPs, MLAs, and councillors, or even the courts, cannot do anything against the will of the people as represented by these committees. We have to make the people also aware of this. Only this will be the true empowerment of the people. To bring about this change, there is no need for any change in any law. Our constitution provides for this. In fact, provides only for this kind of people's candidates and not for party candidates. Initially, these committees will have to be formed by the people directly with the support and guidance of socio-political activists. They will be informal to start with, but once these committees become active and the real people's representatives go on to occupy the seats of governance, we can bring about changes to the laws formalizing the people's committees. Once we have the system in place, we can alter the election system such that only at the street committee level, direct elections will be conducted, and at all other levels, it will be indirect only. Thus, we will not only be selecting our candidates but elect our representatives through these committees. Transitions will be smooth. Electoral expenses for the government will come down drastically, and the huge splurging by the political parties for elections will become a thing of the past. Corruption on account of election expenses will vanish for sure, reducing overall levels of corruption very significantly. All the hullabaloo about elections will vanish too. These people's committees will become part and parcel of the governing chain. Any major change in law will be made only after through thorough consultations at different levels, including street committees of the voters. Any new plans for public projects, etc., will be possible only with the approval of these committees. This may mean a complete revision of the way we view many things, economic philosophy being right and top. Education, health management, industry, commerce, art, and culture, everything will be viewed with people's welfare as a goal. Only what is in the interest of the people will be possible to be taken up by the government. We will thus be ushering in a real democracy. Equitable distribution of wealth and opportunities, parity among various groups, and fairness will be ensured in all dealings. Uplifting the poor, rural, marginalized, downtrodden will be at the center of planning. Rule of law will prevail. This will be the real empowerment of the people. We will not even need separate laws for right to recall and referendum. They are all built in into the system. To carry this message far and wide, it's absolutely essential that the various actors in the social sector, individual social activists, groups, NGOs, come together and hold hands. As these groups are apprehensive and reluctant to come under a single banner, it is sufficient to hold hands to take on the mighty polity to start with. Mergers will take place in due course, and ultimately all the groups will merge into one entity called People's Committees, and that will rule the roost. As for the socio-political activists, we should not project ourselves as candidates or even as representatives for the street committees, etc. Acting as facilitators for the people to select their own candidate will be the real role of small parties and socio-political activist groups. We should have nothing to sell, as the people are likely to select as their representatives from among the socially active ones. If we are the ones, let us take it as a call of duty and deliver. If our friends get selected instead, let us continue our selfless service, working shoulder to shoulder with them. After all, we have not entered political arena to play politics ourselves, but only to rein in, reform, reinforce, recalibrate, reinvent, rejuvenate, and reinvigorate politics. To bring about this change, we invite social political activists, social service groups, small but honest parties, and individuals to join us in making this dream a reality by acting as facilitators for the people to usher in this change. We will see some more details and answers to frequently asked questions in the next episode. Thank you. Vande Mataram.